we know we can count on in a big situation, being healthy, unlike last year. So that's a big stride. And then Marquise, was a guy who really progressed a year ago, and I feel very comfortable putting him into a game. And so right now, without Draymond and James, we're fine at the five. We've got two very capable players, and then once those guys are back, we'll have a lot of options.
On a personal level, how much do you want this for Loon, just to have a peaceful, healthy, productive season?
Yeah, I think everybody knows Loon is kind of a personal favorite of mine, just because of the way he's handled himself throughout his young career and the way he's progressed after two early hip surgeries that could have derailed him, and just the work that he's put in on his body, on his mind, the mentoring that he accepted from Bogut, Draymond, Andre Iguodala. Loon is a really great example of organizational development and personal strength of character, given what he's had to overcome to get to this point from a physical standpoint. So really happy for Loon right now.
Since we're on the topic of bigs, might as well just ask update-wise on James and Draymond, if they're in the gym and how close you feel like they might be.
Yeah, there's no update, nothing to report.
Was James at least in the gym for a second day?
James watched practice again today.
Shoot, I have another one. You were talking a little bit about Smiley yesterday. When you consider how young he is and that he's adjusting to American culture, NBA culture, have you seen him? What kind of gains have you seen in him? Whether it's how he communicates with teammates, with coaches, or just the growth he's made in this life that he has right now?
Well, he never says anything, so he's the quietest player we have on the team. But he's very willing to work. He's a hard worker and willing to learn and listen. So he's a good guy to coach. He'll respond to what you're telling him, and he'll work every single day. And I think he's gotten better. He's I think gotten off to a good start in camp, made some nice plays, and seems to have a better feel for what he has to be as a player in the NBA.
How much did you notice Brad Wanamaker when he was with the Celtics, and what are your observations so far with him on your team?
I watched him quite a bit while he was in the bubble, just because the Celtics were on TV a lot, and I really liked his game, admired his toughness and his stability that he brought to the game. Defensive-minded player, very physically strong, so he can hold up against anybody. I could see him even playing with Steph, even though he's primarily a backup point guard. We could for sure put him out there with Steph as a combination. And I like just his demeanor. He's very poised and serious, and he's just a real pro.
Steve, with the Coaches Association saying that you guys might not have to wear full suits during these games, do you have any thoughts about what you might do? Are you going to do a polo, or what are your thoughts on the whole thing?
First of all, I'm devastated at the news. I had my brand new line of suits it's coming out actually this fall. So my marketing team is going to be disappointed that we're not going to be able to put those on display during games. It's a shame.
Not going to be like brand.
Yeah, my brand's going to take a hit, but I'm confident that through some other social media exploits, I can get my name and face out there a little bit more, and attract the attention that I'm seeking.
What do you think Mike Brown's going to do?
I asked him that this morning. I think Mike is going to buy even more shoes and more colored eyeglasses so that the shoes and the glasses match. But Mike is devastated that he's going to have to wear the same stuff that the rest of us are. It's really going to be a blow to his ego.
Does a small bald man run your marketing team?
What's that?
Small bald man run your marketing team?
Yes. He's a member of the team. He doesn't run.
Is that how it works? Does the whole staff have to wear the same thing, and is that up to you?
It's all part of the and I'm being serious now. Part of the league's agreement is that if a staff is going to wear the polos, then everybody's got to wear the same ones. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to leave it up to Eric Hausen. So Mike may hijack that role at some point if he's not pleased with Eric's choices.
Hi, David. Janie. Go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, you're good, Janie. Go ahead, Janie.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I'm out and about. I'm not on video, but Steve, just looking at all your young guys who were thrown into the action last year out of necessity, and just the wonderful experience they got. I mean, it was certainly a difficult year, but they gained some valuable experience. And are you seeing that in the early days of training camp, just how much further along they would be than a lot of other second, third year guys, perhaps because they had that experience playing a lot of minutes last year?
Yeah, I think so, Janie. I think Eric Paschall has had a really good 3 days, and you can see that his confidence level now compared to a year ago is sky high because he has that 1 year of experience under his belt and making the all-rookie team and getting all that playing time. So I think he's better. I think Jordan Poole and Damian Lee both had a great day today in our scrimmage. And in general, I think the biggest leap young players take in this league is between their first and second year for the reasons you mentioned. And so, yeah, the lone bright spot of last season was getting those guys the playing time to help them develop, and then to obviously get the high draft pick and to have James aboard, and we're excited to get him on the court at some point soon.
And Steve, will that be an adjustment maybe that you have to talk to some of these guys about, given that it may not look exactly the same all the time for them this season? They probably understand that as Steph comes back and others, are in the mix.
Yeah, I talked to them, all of them individually, about how every season in the NBA is very different, and that's why you have to be prepared for every opportunity that you get, because you may not get another one. So I think it's, Eric has to be prepared for, if everybody's healthy, maybe he's not getting as many touches, as many shots, as many opportunities to get himself going. So he's got to learn to play off the ball a little bit more. Jordan has got to maybe take a little bit of a lesson from Damian Lee, and just Damian has been valuable to us the last couple of years because he's always ready, even if he's not in the rotation. I know I can throw him out there, and he's going to produce. So that's a really important aspect of being a young player in this league, is staying prepared and staying ready. And that may be Jordan's role this year. He may not end up in the rotation, but he will absolutely have opportunities to play during the year. He's going to have to be ready for every one of them.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Gene.
Do you have any general takeaways from the scrimmages so far, just how they felt and anything from them?
I think after 3 days, the biggest takeaway is that physically we're getting our wind. The first day was we were really rusty and got tired quickly. So 3 days of this, today was by far the best day in terms of our conditioning, our wind. I think with that said, we have a long way to go. A lot of turnovers, a lot of poor transition defense, possessions where we're just giving up layups behind the play. Sometimes a combination of those two things. And then offensively, we've got so many new guys who are being thrown together that it's going to take some time to blend. So we are looking every bit like a team that hasn't played in 9 months and has added whatever 5 new guys. But having said that, I'm really pleased with the effort, with the way their bodies are responding to the work, the approach, the attitude. We got really good guys. I'm enjoying coaching them, and I think it's all basically a good start. We don't look very good, but I think we're gonna make really big strides going forward.
How much matching are you doing with the scrimmage teams, or have you kind of settled on a certain group versus a certain group?
We've kind of tried to keep the starters together to begin with, just to get them some reps together. So Andrew and Kelly and Steph, and we've had Eric, Paschall in Draymond's role, and we've had Looney out there to start. And just trying to get that group to play together, because they really haven't ever played together. And as I said, you can tell right now there's not much synergy there, and it's going to take some time. In fact, the white team today, the reserves, they came in and really took it to the blue team. So white team came out with a lot of energy and focus, and probably a good slap in the face for the starters. So probably similar to stuff that happens in every camp. It's just in the early going, you just have a lot to put in, and there's a lot of growing pains.
Is Looney going to start Saturday at center?
Probably. I haven't decided yet, but I would lean that way. A big part of things with Loon is to see how he's holding up. And as I said, so far he's doing great. So we really want to give him a good number of minutes to see if his body holds up and to get his rhythm back. So he's had a good camp so far.
I want to ask you about Michael Mulder. Non-guaranteed contract. I know you liked what he did for you guys in that brief stretch that he was with you. What do you think about his prospects of making this roster?
Well, I think he's got a good chance. I'm a big fan of Mike. He's a shooter. He's a smart player at both ends. And as you mentioned, we were really pleased with his play a year ago. And we're a team that is not heavy on shooting, as we know, especially with Clay going on. So Mike just has to be himself and play hard and compete. And he had a good day today. Knocked down some shots, made some good plays. So he's got to just keep pushing forward and see how it all goes.
Steve, what have you thought of the training camp invites, guys like Sutton and Wesson?
They've been good to coach. They're both really respectful and professional in their manners. They really listen. They want to be coached. They want to learn from the older guys. And both guys have done a nice job through the first few days. And this is really valuable.
The heck was that?
Also, Wiggins and Oubre are kind of similar players in certain ways. How do you think they kind of complement each other?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out right now, Connor. We're just putting them together quite a bit, to see how they can play together offensively and defensively. They both have such great length. There's a lot of potential defensively. And then on offense, I think they can complement one another because they're interchangeable. You can bring both guys off of handoffs and get them downhill and put them in high screens. And they're both good passers. You can see over the top of the defense with their length and their height. And they're good players. So they've been interesting to watch so far, trying to put them together and figure out what we can do with them. All right, guys.
One more question.
Yeah.
Your T-shirt. What went into the thought behind that sartorial choice?
As you know, I never give any thought to any sartorial choice. So I've worn this shirt many times. I just happen to wear it today.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.
Well, let me take you right in that bridge club here in 2 seconds. All right, we'll have Brad and Kavan up here shortly.
Monty, what was his shirt? I couldn't see it.
And justice for Breonna Taylor.
Ah.
Yeah.